And so part of the things that the Allies did, and something that we have already talked about earlier, was they used deception. In fact, General Patton was seen by the Germans as being one of the most formidable of foes. And so they assumed that Patton would actually lead this invasion force. The Americans by this time weren't really trusting in Patton so much. He was, of course, quite formidable on the battlefield, but he'd gotten himself into trouble over the things like the slapping of soldiers, as well as some of the comments that he made that were rather inappropriate or rather off color. All the same, Patton was given charge of a shadow army. In fact, very much like what Montgomery had done in North Africa, the Allies created a massive fake camp, complete with tents, complete with fake soldiers, as well as some real ones, complete with things like tanks that weren't real tanks. They were made out of canvas and wood. There were actually soldiers that would go inside these tanks, and they would actually pick them up because they were light enough to do so, and they would walk around with them, so that when the German spy planes flew over, it looked like that tank was actually moving and performing some kind of drill or practice maneuver. In other words, the Germans were completely fooled. They were also partly fooled because they believed all of the codes that they had broken and all the messages coming through those broken codes. These are codes that we knew they had broken, that we allowed them to continue trusting in while we had better codes that they couldn't break. Anyway, we relayed messages constantly, making it look like we had no idea the Germans knew that they were reading them, when in fact we did know. And all of these messages hinted or talked about this coming invasion that was going to be led by Patton from this fake army, and it was going to be aimed at the great port city of Calais, which is the shortest distance roughly across the English Channel from England. The Germans just assumed that's where the attack would come.